had this vision in my mind of what that looked like. When the truth is, they're the small percentage of people with substance use disorder. The largest demographic of people with an alcohol or substance use problem look like me. They have kids, they go to school, they work, and they're functioning people with issues. I would think of like the homeless person. But addiction is beyond drugs and alcohol. People have gambling addictions, people have eating addictions. So addiction is really a persistent and reoccurring use of something, obsessing over something, despite negative consequences. And the negative consequences, especially if you're young now, is like, hey, maybe you're not doing as good at school, maybe you're getting in a fight with argument with your parents, maybe you're not going out hang out with your friends anymore. Person said, give him a round of applause. So the limbic system is a part of the brain, in the center of the brain, also referred to as the reward center of the brain, because what it does is, it releases dopamine. It's a chemical that makes us feel good. Two parents that like live in a home, they own a two-family home. A lot of my friends like didn't even know their dad, their mom's smoking crack, they're being raised by Nana, right? And I say all that because being in school, like I just didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't feel like a part of it. I just didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel accepted or whatever. And so I started acting up. Now I became the class clown. Now I'm starting to pick on other people, snapping on other people to deflect the attention off of me. Then I'm like Mr. Playboy. Oh, you know what I'm saying, baby? Yeah, I don't really do relationships and all this nonsense right there. I'm a Playboy in like high school. And the truth is, I just wasn't okay with self. I wasn't okay with self, so I puff up and I do the big bravado and everything's a big joke, and I just want to hide and mask the fact that my parents are at home fighting all the time, that my uncle's got a heavy drinking problem, that I feel like a little less than, little pyong-pyong. I feel like I don't fit in, you know what I'm saying? And now that I'm in recovery and I have this beautiful, blessed life, like I feel like an obligation to come talk to young people and just share a little bit of my story. And I know you're going to do what you're going to do. I'm not trying to scare you. You're going to do what you're going to do, but like, at least maybe think about it. Are you willing to take that risk with your life? Because this is what happens. It's slow. Just a little vape, no big deal. Just a little weed pen, no big deal. Just a couple beers with my older cousins on the weekend, no big deal. No big deal, no big deal, no big deal. 5 years later, by the time you realize it's a big deal, it's really hard to stop. I don't know. I care about you guys, believe it or not. I don't know any of you, but I care about you guys. People are dying on this island. People are dying off this island. I've been in recovery since July 2nd, 2010. That means I haven't drank a beer or smoked a joint or abused or misused any medications in over 12 years. I live an honest, decent life, and I try to help people. And the sad thing about that is, thank you, a lot of people have died. A lot of people have died. You know how they die? Won't happen to me. They dismiss it. It's a joke. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to get all crazy and tweak out up here. But just know, like, I come from a place of passion. Like, I don't want to hear 6 months from now that you died. Because some of your classmates that were in this school 5 years ago, some of them are dead. And they were just doing what you're doing now. So what makes you think you're different? I felt like I was doing something different that I didn't have them as.
At some point you went into like this flow state and everybody was hooked in.
Oh, yeah.
It was like,
yeah, those kids didn't make sense.
Everything shifted. It might have felt weird from where you were, but like something shifted.
Oh, and everything you
I felt like I had the bigger crowd. I had them. Like at any time I could make them laugh, cry, or shut up. And this crowd was kind of just like, here.
Also dealing with a bunch of kids that were about to go to half day too.
Yeah, they have checked out. They're older too.
But whatever you were singing a little bit of a different tune this time.
If I did it 5 times in a row, it'd be different every time.
Right. Which and not any and you have to remember too that it's speaking of channeling or communing or whatever you're saying is meant to be.
Right. Oh, I did go out in left field on something, and I was like, I don't even know where that came from. Let's go.
I loved it.
Yeah, because it just brought me down this side street that. At the end of it, I was like, oh, okay, that wasn't part of the plan, but clearly it had to be said.
And you asked me, you said something when I was walking away, and you said, why are you sticking around here for this other one? I'd go crazy if I hear you speak. I would come every single time.
And I honestly was amazed that I never showed my butt, because at some point I usually like pop off a little bit. It's just who I am. But like that presentation, I just kept it together, and I was like, wow, this one was good. Big deal. You know, and my experimentation progressed into a Percocet, Oxycontin habit eventually. That lasted about a year. And by 21 years old, I was addicted to heroin. By 22 years old, I was shooting heroin. And man, all the destruction that comes with that would be a whole nother 1 hour presentation. Overdoses, arrests, DUIs, crying moms, crying family members, stealing jewelry, and like, it all started right here. When I was in junior high school, I smoked my first joint. By the time I got to high school, by the way, freshman year, I was smoking marijuana almost every weekend and drinking almost every weekend. And then it just progressed and it progressed and progressed, and it's like, so yeah, it's great to go help people that are in full-blown addiction and try to help them get well, but they're really hard to turn around when they're that far down the road. Really, the energy and the time needs to go into the young people, educating the young people, doing early interventions, doing prevention work, empowering them, loving them, educating them, building self-esteem in them so they're not tempted to go do these drugs. So at the end of the day, I've been in recovery since July 2nd, 2010. I don't drink alcohol, I don't smoke weed, I don't misuse prescription drugs. I've been like really abstinent 100% for over 12 years. I try to live a decent life. I try to help other people in recovery, and gratefully I'm one of the ones that made it. And I've been able to restore my credit and go back to school, and I got my associate's degree, and just last year I finished up my bachelor's degree, and I'm currently enrolled in an MBA program. I'm in an MBA and healthcare program, accelerated program. It's like 7-week classes. In 18 months, I'm gonna have a master's in business administration, right? I'm a New Bedford drug addict with a criminal record that I'm lucky to not be dead. And instead, the beautiful people of Nantucket somehow thought it was a good idea to bring me here and invite all of you, right? And I only say that to say, maybe your kids are okay, but someone else you love has an issue. Because we all know someone that has an issue, and I want you to know, I wanted to give you a little hope shot as well, that I was as bad and as deep as you can get in addiction. And when I was really broken and really willing, I got into a system and I took some action and I completely turned my life around. I don't think about drinking, I don't think about getting high, I'm generally pretty happy. I got 2 beautiful kids. My family has been completely restored. My mom is like my biggest fan. She shares and comments all over my posts. She brags about me, you know, and if she does that until she dies, I still can't make up for the pain that I put her through. So I just pray that I can continue on this path, you know. So if nothing else comes from this PowerPoint, I hope you know that my passion is real and I come here from a sincere place. I don't know it all. I have 2 kids. I'm horrified at when they become 12 and preteens and I don't have any desire to deal with that. I love that my biggest concern is them banging their heads on a corner right now, you know. They're 2 and 3 years old, and I just hope that there's curriculum in place and people in place and people in communities that care enough about this problem that when my kids get into the school system, that the support is there that they're gonna need. Because the truth is, as 2 kids with 2 parents in recovery, they are at an increased risk to become addicted if they experiment themselves. And we'll get into that. Addiction is basically an obsessive, reoccurring use of something despite negative consequences, right? So we think of heroin and crack cocaine and alcoholism, oh, that's addiction. But what you probably see more of is the addiction to the video games. The addiction to the vapes, obviously. The addiction to social media. It's this compulsive mental obsession that all they do is think about it. And when they're not doing it, they're thinking about it. And when they're not doing it, they're thinking about when they can do it again. And it just preoccupies the mind. It starts to distract them. It starts to affect their grades. It starts to affect maybe their health and exercise. It starts to affect their relationships with you because you're like, get off the game already. Get off my back, you know? It creates this static and they'll fight for it. And a big red flag about whether or not it's an addiction is the extent to which someone will fight and resist you challenging their use of that thing. Because if it's like, you know, you're just doing a little something too much, whatever it is, and you're like, hey, you should cut that back. It's like, okay, Ma, Dad. And they chill out a little bit. But when you go at something that's giving them something, providing them something, releasing dopamine, they will fight you. And they will defend it to the death. And that's actually a big red flag indicator, like, whoa, there's an unhealthy attachment to this thing. And I'm just talking about things. I'm not talking about drugs or vaping in general. It could be the video game, it could be the cell phone, it could be they're obsessed with the newest clothes, the newest sneakers, whatever it is. And one thing that I do find that's common with all addictions is it's filling some type of void. Always afraid. So as a 7th grader, when the 8th graders were going to the high school football game and they offered me a joint and I smoked it, I became cool, I became accepted. Now I got this older group that has my back, and I felt like I belonged. I felt like I could breathe a little bit. And the next thing you know, they're like, do you want to drink a couple beers? And I'm like, yes. And then the worst thing that actually happens is, then it starts to make me feel good. Now I start to get a positive effect from the alcohol and the marijuana, and it's not just the social acceptance of my peers. It actually, alcohol is listed as an anti-anxiety medication because it anesthetizes fear. That's why you hear the word beer muscles. When you put alcohol in someone, they're not afraid to dance anymore because they're not afraid of people's opinion, they're not afraid of rejection. They're not afraid to fight the big guy and get knocked out anymore because alcohol anesthetizes fear. So who's most likely to abuse alcohol? People with the most fear, people with the most anxiety, people with the most low self-esteem. And that's what happened to me. At a very young age, I started self-medicating, not even knowing I was self-medicating. And it started with just a little weed on the weekends, then it was a little alcohol, then it was daily weed, and then it was the next thing, and it was the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And the whole time, if you would have asked me, I would have been in a presentation like this, like, whatever, dude, it'll never happen to me. I've seen addiction in my family, I hate it, it'll never be me. I've seen homelessness in New Bedford, I hate it, it'll never be me. It's just weed, right? And by the time it was like a real heavy problem, I couldn't make a decision to stop on my own. I told you earlier, like I'd try to stop and I couldn't. So we gotta get it now. It is serious. Don't minimize the vaping, please. Don't minimize the alcohol or the marijuana use. Like, yeah, some of them may use it and be fine, but some might not. You know, and are you willing to take that risk? I already know I'm gonna be a crazy parent. Because of what I know, when my kids start getting older, it's not gonna fly. And I'm gonna have to be the parent and not the friend. I'm gonna be unpopular. And I'm willing to do that because I'm not willing to watch my kids go through what I went through. And if they choose to do that anyway, I'll have to make adjustments and do my best in those situations, but I'm at least not gonna make it easy for them.